Hello and welcome to Lockdown Live. We're here with Maddy Page Knitwear and we're going to talk about her general experience during lockdown and how it's affected her business. So firstly, how has lockdown generally been for you?
It's been a lot of ups and downs. I've mostly been quite enjoying the slower pace of things within lockdown, and I really needed some time at home basically. So I feel really lucky, and I live with my family, so I've been able to be with them. So it has been a very interesting time, but I feel like I was very needed for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel the same as well. So what first got you into fashion design?
So, well, I've always been into fashion. I think if you are into fashion, you just know that it's just something that kind of comes out of you. You're just into style, and you're into arts, and you're into a mixture of those things. So I kind of thought I was really into art. I thought I was going to be an artist. And then I looked at where I was going for uni, and I had done like textiles and art at A levels. And so I thought I would try out, and I went to Winchester School of Art, so just like quite near Solent, really, to do fashion design. Yeah, and then I specialised in knitwear when I was there, which was interesting. I'm a bit in between fashion and knitwear generally. Um, I think I'm not structured enough to be like a proper tailor fashion designer. I like the kind of erratic nature, and that's what I do within my work. I just kind of play with fabrics and play with clothes.
Yeah. So where did you first sort of learn your like sewing and garment construction skills?
So well, I kind of learned a bit at uni. It wasn't so much a hands-on, like you kind of taught yourself a lot, really, and you taught yourself as much as you wanted to learn. But since I have finished uni, I've been interning with my friend Rosie, and she runs a corsetry company, and she makes bridal wear as well. So it's kind of like wedding dresses and like really tailored corsets and things like that. So with her, she really taught me like how to pattern cut and how to make things that are really fitted and things like that. So like from those skills and like art school skills, I've kind of put them together to like make what I make nowadays.
Okay. And how and when did you first set up your own clothing brand?
So I started kind of like focusing energy on it like last September. I just decided I wanted to at least try and make things on the side. I worked at a charity shop. That's what really got me excited about using like secondhand clothing and sustainably like sourced things. Um, and so I would get like scraps and stuff from the charity shop, take them home, and try and make what I could. At first, I tried to release like t-shirts, and it didn't go very well. And then I started working on other designs. It was really at the beginning of the year when I saved up and I bought the machinery that I needed to start working. And then I just got selling on Depop. But it happened in a really short space of time, like pretty much my first sale was in March, and then it's
Yeah.
blown up since then. Yeah. So it's been a very like I'm still like very early days, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so what have been the best and worst parts of running like a small fashion business company?
The best parts, because I just work at home in this room, I'm in here all the time on my own. The best parts are when I get to see it on people. I get to like see how people would style things and how they would wear them, and seeing people like excited to buy something you've made. That's like definitely the best part. The harder part is, I think, trying to navigate like pleasing a lot of people. Like I am I have gotten a lot of attention like in a very short space of time. So I wasn't really aware of like what I would be having to like do and stuff like that. I've just had to try and for instance, like just like getting message you on Instagram, I'm really bad at it because I'm just constantly like trying to work and trying to get out stuff. It's hard to like get to everybody and things like that. But there's so many good parts of it. I really like it, and so far I haven't really found working alone getting too lonely or anything like that. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so where did you like first get your like design inspiration? You obviously have like quite a clear style. So where did you first sort of decide that that was like sort of your signature like thing you wanted to go down?
So so I've always been really into punk fashion, and I think that's something that kind of follows through my work. One thing I did decide that I really liked at uni was a color palette. I really like red and pink, and that's like kind of a signature color palette for me, and that keeps everything within like the same sphere, even if I'm like doing things that might be like different styles and stuff like that. It keeps it like on brand. But I really like punk fashion. I really like punk fashion in like different age, like 90s, and like into like grunge fashion. Those are the kind of styles that I like to wear myself. I am very much a designer, and like nobody has to be, but like I do like to design stuff that I would wear, and I think that's something that works well because I get a lot of other people in it, because it's something that I'm proud to wear, and they seem to like it as well. But yeah, my inspiration a lot of the time will come from like trends as well. So like you see things like pop up more in fashion. So like for instance, like this kind of like cottagecore themes that have been going on like this summer, like very much kind of like a mixture of like country fashion and like kind of how would I put it, like picnic fashion, I suppose. Like that's kind of what I've gone for like this summer. But yeah, it's evolving a lot, and I try to think of like new things quite often. It's quite hard to keep thinking of new ideas. But I try and keep going with it. Yeah.
That leads me on actually to, in terms of creatively, did you find you were more or less creatively inspired during lockdown? Like, did you find it hard to sort of be coming up with new garment ideas? Were you like sort of feeling a bit deflated, or did you actually feel like you had a lot of time that sort of meant that you could be creative and sort of exploring different ideas?
Definitely at the beginning of lockdown, I was doing a lot of art. I was doing a lot of like, I was going back to sketchbooks and like start drawing again and things like that. That made it easier, and as time has gone on, I think I've developed I live under this umbrella of what my brand is and what the style is. And basically what I've been doing recently, what it feels like, is I do just variations of my designs, and I try and keep it within that style. But when I try and think of new designs, my like best recommendation is to like get off Instagram, because if you get off social media, it's really, you don't realize the ideas that are going to your head when you're looking at other people's work. Especially like a lot of other people have been putting time into their small business during lockdown, and I've just tried to like spend some time alone in my studio, like just trying out new things. I try and when I think of new ideas, what I do is I go on Snapchat and I take a photo of just like a black, and I try and like draw it down. So I've got loads of these like weird squiggly line drawings, and some of them really work. A lot of them will just take time to do, so like you have to kind of dedicate a certain amount of time to be able to produce new stuff, which I've been doing recently. But as things have gotten busier, I need to kind of go back to that. Well, that's what I liked about lockdown at the beginning, was that you had all this time and there was no pressure to like be making all these things. You could work at your own pace.
Yeah, for sure. No, I felt the same as well. So as an independent fashion business, obviously you sort of got your first purchase in March. Do you think that lockdown actually possibly helped your business grow? Do you think more people were sort of shopping online, and then that sort of like allowed them to discover it?
Oh, like honestly, lockdown is like the only reason that like we're even talking really right now. Lockdown gave me time to work on my stuff. Like I wouldn't have had the time to make any of these things. I was originally supposed to go back to my job at the charity shop, and everything got so busy that I decided not to return to the charity shop. So I have been working like for 2 months just self-employed now, and that's only a result of lockdown. And also I've really benefited from people being at home and being able to be on their phones, being able to like see my work, being maybe even like able to spend a little bit more money on a handmade thing because they're at home and they're saving more money. It feels a bit of a mixed thing. I've spoken to like other small businesses about this. It's a very mixed thing because a lot of people have done well out of lockdown, and it feels like a taboo thing because a lot of people obviously are really struggling, and I am really grateful for the time. That I'm really grateful for what's happened to me. I feel very lucky.
Yeah. So finally, what are your plans sort of for your business in the future? Have you got any like set things, or are you just going to see how it goes? But like, have you got an image of what you hope your brand will look like in a year or anything?
I have to think too far ahead because I struggle with this idea that I'm going to become like I've just become interesting and I'm going to become as uninteresting again. So I need to try and combat like that. I would like to stay on Depop for quite a while. I sell mainly on Depop, and I think it's a really good platform for me, and it's where I'm able to like deal with everything on there. So I would like to stay like that for a while. I don't know really. It's hard to say what will happen. I'd like to maybe start working with other designers and to try and build up this kind of more of like a brand image than just like me solely making things. So I would like to work with people who like make accessories and people who make art and things like that, and we could maybe start like a shop together. This kind of thing would be great, but I am very much taking it month by month at the moment just because of how many changes we've had this year, basically.
Yeah, you can't predict the future at the moment whatsoever.
I know, this has proved that.
So that's all the questions that I've got for you today. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Oh, thank you for talking to me.
Good luck to your brand in the future.
Thank you.